when I changed emotionally, when I changed personally, I sort of opened myself up a little bit to cosmopolitanism, realised that nationalism wasn't the be-all and end-all of human existence. It was a long personal change that just encouraged me to open myself up a little bit more to cosmopolitanism.
Hello, George. Welcome to the Brexit Reality Portraits project. Could you present yourself?
Hi, my name's George. I'm 22. I'm from Birmingham, and I'm a politics graduate. I got into politics at around sixth form, which is about 16, 17, and I was a part of the Conservative Party for a while, and then I was one of the youngest Brexit Party candidates in the country. I think I was second or something, pipped to the post by somebody else. And then I was part of Rory Stewart's campaign. And now I'm living in Yorkshire, and I've completely changed politically. So yeah.
What part did Europe play in your involvement in politics?
Europe has always been sort of an important issue for me. And I've always been really interested in the sort of cultural and political relationship that Britain has with the European continent. I've always been quite critical of the European Union, even now, despite having changed. But I got into politics because I wanted to learn more, put my views across on the European issue, meet new people and talk to new people about the European issue. So, as I say, it's always been a really important thing for me.
What did you think of EU back then? What three words would you pick?
If I was to pick three words, I think distant, globalist, inscrutable.
Let's move to your academic research. What was an important moment in your relationship with the EU issue? What were the outcomes of your research?
At university, my dissertation was studying the results of the sort of white working class vote in the English Midlands, which is where I'm from. And what I found out was sort of what everyone had always assumed, but it was nice just to sort of get it sort of in writing, because I found out that how people voted, what the whole thing was about, I thought, was about a long battle that white working class people had been having with politicians and sort of globalist capitalism since before Blair. It was about identity, it was about globalism, it was about immigration, especially. It was about ethnicity, it was about class. Definitely, identity is the biggest part of it. But I found out that what it wasn't really about was actually about the European continent, European culture, European people. So I sort of found out that us leaving the European Union was sort of a bit of collateral damage from this identity crisis that working class people were having as a result of Blair and Thatcher, and a lot of different things in British politics for 30, 40 years.
What's an interesting story about the Brexit campaign?
Well, when I was part of the Brexit Party, we went to this sort of big rally in Telford, and it was the West Midlands rally. And that was in Telford. That was in like Shropshire. It's a small town. And then so I turned up about it like quite early, and the main event wasn't until 6 or something. And so I went for a few pints, went for a few beers, which is what we do in England, when we have like a few hours to kill. So I came back, I came back a little bit, spaced, a little bit buzzed, and we were sort of sat in this enormous room with a like, we sat in this enormous room with about 1,000 people, this, you know, concert venue, and we got we were watching these speeches, you know, all these different politicians, and they asked us to get on the stage. And I remember briefly, Nigel Farage was talking on the stage there, and as he was sort of looking around, and he said, "All our great candidates," and he gave me a little bit of eye contact for a second, and in that moment, I sort of went, "Where the hell am I?" And I was like, "Oh my God, like, what is going on? Where am I? This is so surreal. What am I doing on this stage?" But I think the Brexit Party, it was all, I generally had a good time in the Brexit Party. It was all, you know, salt the earth, working class people. But yeah, that was definitely a bit of a wake up moment for me, I think.
What are your personal and emotional views on Europe today?
I think as I've had a more personal and emotional change in myself, in the past year, I think my views in general have changed, but especially my views on Europe have changed. So I think when I changed emotionally, when I changed personally, I sort of opened myself up a little bit to cosmopolitanism. Sort of lost the small town vibe, the small town opinions, and sort of realized that nationalism wasn't the be all and end all of human existence. And when that happens, you sort of do open yourself up a little bit more to sort of this cosmopolitanism, more to appreciating Europe. So I think that's why I changed politically. It wasn't an ostensible, you know, overnight, okay, I'm pro-European Union now. It was a long personal change that just sort of encouraged me to open myself up a little bit more to cosmopolitanism.
What's your analysis of the Brexit process today?
I think the word would be surreal. I think I think that Brexit is. I think every country has had their sort of adventure into populism. Trump, you know, etc., etc., and Brexit was Britain's adventure into populism. I think as populism sort of starting to go off a cliff in the Anglosphere, you know, like peter out a little bit, it's starting to become evident how fleeting an adventure Brexit actually was, and you know, how it won't actually, as I said earlier, how it won't actually solve the problems that people voted for it to solve. So I think now the national cathexis is sort of focused on COVID, we have started to realise how much of a fleeting adventure it actually was. So given that, I would not be surprised if we were to rejoin in the next 10 years or something. It wouldn't surprise me.
Let us finish with our traditional question. What is your message to all other Europeans?
I'd say please try not to discount Britain as a part of the European civilization or as part of the European community. You know, we still want you to come here, enjoy the culture. I don't mean just, you know, have a go on the London Eye. I mean, come here, enjoy the culture. You know, enjoy we are still one of the many great cultures that make up this European community. But you know, try to appreciate us as that, and come here, enjoy. But incidentally, do have a go on the London Eye, because it it is good. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
Thank you very much, George, and thank you for taking part in the Brexit Reality Portraits project.
Thank you so much.